happy whatever day of the week, whatever month of the year, whatever hour you're watching this. But here's something. This is my birthday week. So I'll tell you why that's important. A, because I used to have a birthday month and I've downgraded. It's funny. I posted some shit this week about my birthday week and people were saying, a birthday week. And I said, I just downgraded from a birthday month. So just be happy. It's only a week now. But let me tell you why it's important. I share my birthday with a person that I've looked up to that I've learned a lot from, Mr. Walt Disney. I think you guys have heard of him. Which brings me to the topic of this week. I've read, right, and read a lot of Walt Disney stuff. And we have this word. I want to use these two words, service and experience. And do they matter? Because they do. The word service and experience. I don't care if you're in healthcare, you are in the service industry. And your people, your patients, your clients are having an experience, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. That's one of my favorite quotes ever. I don't know who to attribute that to. It's not me. But one of those things was about the patient experience, client experience, customer experience was your customers are having an experience, whether you know it or not. Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it indifferent? Well, if you don't know the experience they're having, then you have no idea if it's good, bad, indifferent. And you then also don't know how to systematize it, to recreate it, to get that consistency and repeatability out of that experience. Okay. So service versus experience, they are both the same thing. All right. And I'm going to tell you where this comes from is reading a lot of Walt, coming up to my birthday for Walt Disney, right? CEO, founder of, right, Walt Disney, or of Disneyland, sorry, and Disney Productions and all those things, right? He was originally a cartoonist. And just last week, I picked up a book by Isidore Sharp, no E. He is the CEO of the Four Seasons Hotel Group. He's always been an interesting person to me because I'm going to challenge you in that people want to emulate Walt Disney and they want to talk about client experience and they want to bring Disney trained people into healthcare to teach people how to better manage our clients, our customers, our patients. And I do believe in this, but I believe a lot of people get lost in what we're trying to create. And that's because of this experience word. Okay. I just picked up Isidore Sharp's book. It's over 10 years old, but I just picked it up. But it's about, it says, Isidore Sharp, it's a book, the title says a book about a business philosophy. And I love it. Isidore Sharp is probably in his 70s or 80s now. Very humble upbringing, very hardworking construction guy who got into the hotel management business and created Four Seasons Hotels. And I was reading this book this week, and I want to state this is not ego talking. It just is what it is after doing all this reading. There's really nothing new in there. And when you look back on things and reflect back on these very innovative people, right? Reading Walt Disney stuff from the 50s and 60s, you're like, this isn't really innovation. But you got to put yourself in that time period, right? Isidore Sharp was coming up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? Growing a hotel business in the Four Seasons chain. And it was when he really made the jump to Four Seasons, right, to wanting to manage more hotels and stop making hotels, that he started talking about this word service. And what I love about this is the hotel industry, I believe, emulates healthcare very closely. And the thing is, people need a service and they can get it just about anywhere, right? And I'm not talking about the 20%, right? These rare diseases or rare diagnoses or rare syndromes or rare symptoms that need specialists upon specialists upon specialists. I'm talking about the majority of the people in America, or probably in any country, seeking out healthcare, or for that matter, wanting to be healthy, right? And so Isidore Sharp is in the hotel industry where what? Everybody just needs a place to sleep. Think about that. That's all a hotel was a place to sleep. It was a place with a bed, right? And that's how they started. And so How did he differentiate the Four Seasons? How has the Four Seasons become a worldwide, international, five-star, this is the other thing, hotel chain? Is by one focus and one focus only, the focus on the service, dot, 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 and the people who deliver it. When I was reading, not through his book yet, but as I'm reading the first 10 or 12 chapters, I'm realizing he's talking about high level. He's talking about their golden rule, which is the experience he wants to create. He never calls it this, right? He never calls it this. And it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. It's no big deal. He doesn't call it that. But he never references the word our client or customer's experience. He talks about the service that's going to be delivered to their clients and customers, right? Which is huge, because the service delivered is the experience that's created. That is the emotional response you're going to have staying at one of his hotels. And so again, through these first 10 chapters, 12 chapters, right, when you learn more about him and then getting really into the hotel management side, is he really understood that it was about the service delivered and by whom it was delivered, right? So the other thing that really struck me in this, right, was the lowest paid people influence the business and the service more greatly than anybody else. And he talked about the hotel world, because where the general manager never actually sees a paying customer, where maybe even the general manager, maybe even the hotel manager never sees a paying customer. He called it your frontline workers, right? People's whole experiences with your business are by, I think they numbered it out. They surveyed it out. Everybody comes in touch with like 5 to 7 frontline workers on every visit. So basically the success of his company was not the managers, the general managers he hired, the VPs. It was how could they get the right people in the right positions and get them trained properly to deliver a service that had already been created, right? So this service mindset, I believe, is a really good mindset for us to be in. Again, there's lots to be learned from Disney, but I think we've been really leaving ourselves short, right? Because I've seen the Disney Institute stuff. I've heard Disney Institute people. I've read a lot of Disney books, and people really get lost in the minutia of, well, it's a theme park. It's this, it's that. We're not trying to create that. And it's like, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. But there's too much having to clarify and create better context for people. Whereas with Isidore Sharp and the Four Seasons world, in this dedication to service, to dot 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 create a experience that people, right, would speak about and want to return and spend their money on, right, was huge. And this delivery of the service by the frontline workers and understanding the value of the frontline workers. Now, where have you heard any of this before? Right? He talks about the doorman, the housekeeping staff. I mean, everybody you can possibly think of, the front line of the front line, right? And he talked about all the possible ways someone's stay at his hotel could go wrong, right? Housekeeping, right? Check in, check out, doorman, right? All these different services. He talks a lot about when he was coming up, right? He would send, because they cater to the obviously the upper end business executives, who sends his suit out to get pressed and has an important meeting at 8 a.m. and it's not back at the right time. So it's all these little things he really looked at as this delivery of service that became the experience they had at a Four Seasons hotel that drove them to return and spend the money that they would spend. I don't know if all of you are familiar, but Four Seasons hotel prices are about here, when the average hotel is probably down about here. Four Seasons, if you pull it up at any time, if you're looking to travel somewhere and there's a Four Seasons, pull up the hotel you're staying at, look at the average daily rate, pull up the Four Seasons in the area. There may even be a 0 on the end of it. But yet they're an international company that still exists today, that made it through COVID, that has made it through, right, recessions, that has made it through depressions, has made it through everything. And they still exist. And when he started this hotel, there was a lot of pushback, of course, right? Because everybody said, look, here's the other thing I want you guys. So the service is the experience. That's number one. Your frontline team delivers, right? And is in more contact points than a lot of your higher paid staff. So something to keep in mind. Number two, I want you to keep in mind about this whole idea around the Four Seasons and Isidore Sharp, and his mindset around all this was when he first went into this and was pitching this idea of a higher end hotel that would deliver this service. Everybody kept pointing to the Sheratons and the Marriotts and the existing hotel chains at the time and said, look, they got 2-star, they got 3-star, they got 5-star. We need to go out and create this wider reach, right? To reach more people because they're very profitable. And he said, no, they're trying to please everyone. We're going to please one group of people. I think this is really, really important. I just read that part this week. Not every clinic in healthcare cannot deliver healthcare to all the people in their community. So finding the people you can serve best, and I don't care where it is. And I think you guys all know my experience at this point. I've worked with people doing pro bono work. I've worked with people collecting $400 a visit. Your responsibility is to find the people that you can serve in your community, make sure they know you exist, and then take care of them, right? Treating more people in your community who can use your services, right? That's the ultimate goal of your business. If you're online, your community becomes bigger and bigger. If you're brick and mortar, it's literally your physical community. But quit trying to be a 5-star hotel with a 2-star mindset. Quit trying to be a 2-star motel with a 5-star mindset. And I think both of those. So don't think it's either or, and don't think I'm just trying to push everybody to a 5-star world. This is a great example because he went out and served a group that wasn't being served, the higher end group, because everybody was already serving the lower end group, right? I see more and more PTs. I see more and more providers. I see more and more healthcare providers looking for the lower end group. This group does not expect the same things as this group when it comes to service, when it comes to experience. Remember, hotels are just about getting a good night's sleep. So healthcare is about people getting the result they desire. Why will they choose you? If I just wanted a good night's sleep. So I recently stayed in Four Seasons. I could see the fucking Motel 6 from my window. It was like 2 blocks away. So I was probably sitting in one of the upper, 10% most expensive rooms in the city I was staying in. And 2 blocks away was probably the lowest 10%. By the way, their parking lot was full. The Four Seasons was full. So again, the people going to Motel 6 don't expect what the people at Four Seasons expect. And by the way, I stayed at Motel 6s, and I still would, depending on where I am and what my needs are. And I wouldn't expect what I get at the Four Seasons. Again, service and the experience and the frontline workers. And that second thing is, who is your audience? Who are you going to deliver to, and what do they want? This is missing. This is missing so much. The clients I've been working with recently are really missing this on the front end. They have no idea who they can serve, and they take this broad stance. They're like, I'm not getting the right people. And I'm like, because you're just you're throwing out a drift net. You're pulling in whatever fish you can. Throwing out a drift net isn't going to grow anybody's business. By the way, it doesn't grow Walmart. Walmart knows their customer and where they fit and what they want and what they need. I want to stay on the hotel side because really the hotel delivers one thing: a bed, a place to sleep. That's all it is. So why the Motel 6 versus Four Seasons? Why the Four Seasons during versus the Motel 6? Here's the thing. The Motel 6 people don't worry about trying to get the business away from the Four Seasons, and the Four Seasons isn't trying to get business from the Motel 6. Yet they're both full, they're both busy, and they're both making money. They're both profitable. By the way, Motel 6 delivers a service and experience. Part of their service and experience is the minimal approach, right? Nothing fancy on purpose, right? Right. Why would we put a restaurant in our hotel if it's going to cost you? Because we'll have to pass that on to you. So service versus an experience, same thing. Looking at other industries and figuring out where to learn from and who to emulate, I would highly recommend looking up Isidore Sharp, this founder and CEO of the Four Seasons. Again, who understood when at the time I just got done reading their first standalone hotel was in Washington, D.C. They were the only hotel in the whole US of A to be charging over $200 a night when they came to be. I think it was the late 70s. But yeah, they were winning all the awards and they were packed all the time, right? So again, found his niche, found his customers, found his people, built around them and delivered to them. Didn't worry about, by the way, didn't worry about the Marriott crowd, right? The 2-3-star groups, let alone Motel 6 group, right? And it was so funny when you read his upbringing, him coming up and talking to all these execs, they were always focused in the middle, right? And they were trying to kind of branch out a little bit and get people on both sides. And again, they were very profitable, but at a volume, just pure insanity, right? He said, look, we can make, right? Their profit margin, I guarantee you that Four Seasons profit margin is higher. So it doesn't have to be about volume. Again, Motel 6, Four Seasons. And then you got Marriott who's trying to, right, deliver to everybody. And if you've ever stayed at a Marriott or Sheraton, sometimes if I'm traveling somewhere and that's all there is, and I'm trying to figure out which Sheraton do I book, which Marriott do I book? Because it's like, here's the 2-star, here's the 3-star, here's the 4-star. I'm like, well, what's the difference really? If I see Four Seasons, there's only one choice. They're 5-star. If I see a Motel 6, there's only one thing really. So again, the second part is understanding your audience, because we're all living in this Marriott Sheraton world. We're living in the middle and trying to attract all these people and probably alienating the people we could serve, because again, they don't understand. Just like when I go to a city and I'm looking at Marriott's and there come up 3 different Marriott properties. I'm like, what's the difference? And you read the descriptions or you look at the price and you're like, now I'm just choosing on price. That's a commodity. Four Seasons, not a commodity. Motel 6 is a commodity. But again, right? Both parking lots full, both buildings full. Cool. So look up the book, look up the Isidore Sharp book, CEO of Four Seasons. I don't have it with me. I didn't grab it. I just wanted to talk about it today, and really just my thoughts on reading this book. And I'm about halfway through. And again, just this mindset of service and experience. Service is experience. The experience is the service, right? Your frontline workers are more responsible for your business success than anybody else, because they deliver the service that creates an experience. And if you don't understand your patient's life cycle, and then therefore your patient client's experience, then you can't control for it, and your service will be spotty at best. Second part of that is understand your market. I understand who you're delivering to. We don't all need to be charging $500 a visit. I wouldn't. Me personally, I work with clinics who do. Just understand who you're serving and what they want and need from you. Because remember, the person staying at Motel 6 is getting the same result as the person who's staying at the Four Seasons. Don't lose that. You put your head down, you go to sleep, you wake up. That's the desired outcome. By the way, it's exactly why I stayed at the Four Seasons. I wanted somewhere where I could sleep well, not have a lot of noise. Four Seasons was closer to the street. I could see the rooms facing the street. Did they get as good a sleep? I don't know. They probably did, right? If you go in and you know your expectations, but ultimately you get the same result from both. It's the experience. Let's talk about the experience. And people go, I don't, right? People stay in Motel 6. Yeah, I drove up and parked in front of my room, went to bed, got up and left. It was a perfect experience for me. Didn't have to pay for parking. I paid for parking, right? Shit like that, right? But that's the experience. And that's what I want you all thinking about. The service is the experience that's delivered by your front desk, literally, right? What do you have in a hotel? The front desk. Who's the first person you meet in a hotel? Four Seasons, it's the bellman, it's the valet guy. Motel 6, it's the front desk. Who's the second person you meet at Four Seasons? The front desk. So again, Service is the experience. The experience comes from the service, and it's your frontline people, right? Go online, read. I'll give you one perfect example of this. Go online and read the negative reviews about PT clinics in your area. The bulk of them will be about what? Billing, which had, and everybody say that, right? But they got better. And I'm like, yep, part of the service. Someone writing negative reviews about a hotel because there was a leaky faucet going drip, drip, drip all night, whatever, right? Something wasn't clean somewhere. Housekeeping, maintenance, right? Right. Probably the lowest paid people in the hotel. Billing, maybe your lowest paid employee, the front desk, right? Oh, the front desk was rude, didn't help me, blah, blah, blah. Lowest paid employee. Might be time to start thinking about the service that your non-providers deliver and their impact on the experience that people are having. Awesome experience, service, same thing, right? And then understand your niche. It's getting more important. I'm going through this again myself personally, figuring out who I serve best. It's the end of the year. I'm looking back, reflecting back on the clients I've had. Who were my best clients? Do they fall into one certain category? Can I start reaching more of them? Right? Cool. Enjoy. And if you get a chance, stay at a Motel 6 and stay at a Four Seasons. By the way, on the same trip. Cheers all.